Welcome to Private Banking Advisory. Today is Friday, the 12th of May, and we are nearly halfway through this supposedly very nice month that offers us the first glimpse of what should become a good summer. Now, will it be a good summer for the investors? Basically, the track record over the last 50 years has been not so good. It reminds you of the old say, sell in May and go away. And statistically, it is also proven that the summer months or the half year is not the best time to achieve great investment returns. So, what are investors to do about this slightly negative outlook? One alternative that is offered to them by fund managers, investment managers, and private bankers alike are stronger and higher allocations to alternative investments. Alternative investments, what is that? Basically, it is a combination or a mix of the following asset classes: hedge funds, property, infrastructure, and private equity. All these asset classes have one thing in common, that they are basically not always the most liquid investments. Some hedge funds offer assets that are basically very liquid. They invest only in equities that are traded on the stock market and can be liquidated at short notice. And therefore, the fund can also offer investors the option to redeem their holdings at short notice. There are some property funds that are listed, closed-end funds. Again, they can be sold at short notice, but you also have the problem that some of these closed-end funds cannot be liquidated at short notice, and so you have to be very careful to ask fund managers or private bankers what type of property fund they invest in. Venture capital is in the majority an illiquid investment. Also, there are some funds that run investment trusts that hold stakes in private equity funds, in some cases also direct investments in companies. But again, they are a minority. The big chunk of private equity is an illiquid investment. In some cases, you are basically obliged to stay invested in the fund for up to 10 years. And infrastructure, by definition, same problem. You have some infrastructure funds that can be traded on the exchanges. But if you are invested in a proper infrastructure fund that invests in assets like ports, airports, telephone transmission masts, bridges, roads, you are basically holding an asset that is not very liquid. So to sum it all up, alternative assets may look attractive, but first check careful what type of asset is actually proposed to you. And the big problem is that all these private assets, alternative assets, come with much higher fund management costs. You pay your fund manager or your private banker, you pay various depository institutions that hold the assets for you. And in the end, the assets that are basically being invested in, usually funds or asset managers that are specialized in the product, charge quite substantial fees. So if you add them all up, you probably end up with a minimum of 3% annual cost of fund management. And if you consider that a reasonable long-term rate of investment returns that you can hope for or expect for all your assets is about 7% per annum, do the number. Take away 3% and you end up with 4%. That means your total investment return is nearly reduced by 50%. And if you compound this difference between 7 and 4%, you will see that you lose a massive amount of possible returns by investing in alternative assets. So you have to really, really do your homework. Private banking advisory is never going to suggest specific investments or investment funds, or even steer you to certain fund managers or private bankers, but we can help you in the dialogue with these asset managers and fund managers, and basically help you to get the best possible deal in terms of performance, in terms of risk management, in terms of keeping the costs of managing your money at a reasonable level. So if you are interested, get in touch with me and we can arrange a consultation. We charge fees on an hourly basis that are comparable to what professionals in the medical field, in the legal field here charge you. And I'm also grateful if you can recommend the channel, give us a like so that our message is spread to a wider audience. Thank you very much and speak to you again next week. Bye-bye.